Hello everyone and welcome to the video lecture on calculus of variation. Today's topic is isoperimetric problem. We have gone through the theory of the isoperimetric problem in the previous video lecture. Today we shall discuss how to solve the examples on the isoperimetric problem. So let us begin with the first example of today's online session, that is, determine a function y of x such that the functional this is extremum given that integral of this is 2. Conditions are y of 0 equal to 0 and y of 1 is also 0. So just recall, for a isoperimetric problem there are two functional given, out of which one needs to be extremized, means maximized or minimized, another has a constant value, right? So this is the functional which is to be extremized, so its integrand involves a function capital F. So therefore let us write capital F. So F is equal to x square plus y dash square, and the functional whose value is given as constant is nothing but gives us the function g. So that is nothing but capital G is equal to its integrand is y square. Okay, so we construct a new function. So construct h is equal to f plus lambda g, where this lambda is called the Lagrange's multiplier. Okay, now so this implies h is equal to f is x square plus y dash square plus lambda times y square. Okay, so this is our new function corresponding to which the functional need to be extremized. So therefore the new functional which we have to extremize will be, so therefore consider a functional integral 0 to 1 of h dx, right? So this is our new function to be extremized. Now, so for extrema n of the function h, the Euler's equation is, for extremum of h, the Euler equation is so it is given by del h by del y minus d dx of it is del h by del y dash equal to 0. Okay, so this is the equation to be used for extremum of the function h. Okay, now find out the derivatives. So del h by del y is, it will be 2 lambda y minus d dx of del h by del y dash will be 2y dash equal to 0. So this implies what we have, differentiate this, 2 will come outside, that will get cancelled. So we have lambda y minus derivative of y dash with respect to x will be y double dash equal to 0. So this implies we will rearrange this equation. So y double dash minus lambda y equal to 0. Now as the two conditions are given, so this whatever will be the solution that must satisfy this differential equation, right? So let us write this in operator form. So we have d square minus lambda operating on y equal to 0. Okay, so as this differential equation must have a solution which will satisfy this condition, so therefore we take here lambda as minus a square. Okay, so this becomes d square plus a square times y operating on y equal to 0, where lambda is minus a square. Okay, now simplify, find out the solution of this. So to find CF, right, so auxiliary equation is required. which is given by m square plus a square equal to 0. So this implies m is equal to plus minus ia. So the roots are imaginary, therefore the required complementary function will be so therefore this is our equation number 2. Complementary function is equal to e raised to power alpha. Alpha is 0, right? Alpha is 0 over here and beta is a. So it is e raised to power 0x into c1 cos of beta x, beta is a, plus c2 sin of ax. Okay. So as the right hand side of this is 0, that's why particular integral will be 0. So here particular integral is 0. Therefore solution of 2 is dependent variable is y over here, right? So that is equal to complementary function plus particular integral. Now substitute CF and PI. So y is equal to what we have? It is simply C1 cos AX plus C2 sin AX. PI is 0, so plus 0, right? So this is the solution provided it will satisfy the given conditions, right? So we'll make use of given condition in order to get the values of arbitrary constants C1 and C2 involved over here. So what it will be? So to find C1 and C2, that is a constants. Let us call it as equation number 3. Okay. Now, so we given y of 0 is 0 and y of 1 is also 0. So applying these two conditions to equation 3. So on applying the condition, given conditions on equation 3, we get. So what we will get? So we will get it as, put x as 0 at that time, y is 0. So y is 0 equal to x 0 cos of 0. Cos of 0 is 1. So it is c1 only left. Then sin of 0, 0 is 0. So the second term vanishes. So what we have here is c1 is equal to 0. Now apply next condition. What is the next condition? X is 1 at that time, y is 0. So put x as 1 over here. So also y0 is equal to, put x as 1. So c1 is 0. So already first term vanishes, plus c2 into sin of a. Right? X is 1. So we have what? c2 times sin of a is equal to 0. Obviously, c2 cannot be 0. Why? Because if I will take c2 as 0, then c1 is already 0. If c2 is also 0, then this complete solution will be a 0 solution, and we don't want a 0 solution. We are interested in getting a non-zero solution, right? So therefore, c2 cannot be 0. So this implies sin of a is 0. Right? Now, for what values of this angle, the sine function will be 0. So we know that sine function is 0 at n pi. Okay, where n takes the value 0, plus minus 1, plus minus 2 and so on. So this gives, on equating the angle, A is equal to n pi. Right. So now we have got the value of C1 as well as A. right? So we will put these values in equation number 3. So therefore equation 3 implies y is equal to c1 is 0, then we have c2 sine of n pi x, right? Substituting the value of a. Now we wish to find out what is the value of c2. So as both the conditions are utilized, that is y of 0 equal to 0 and y of 1 equal to 0. So let us make use of one more identity given. What is that? That the functional is having constant value. That part we have not utilized. So let us use that. Now we have integral 0 to 1 of y square is equal to 2. This is given. Okay, so let us make use of this in order to get the value of c2. So this implies integral 0 to 1 of y. What is y according to equation 4? It is c2 sine of n pi x, and square of this is equal to 2. Okay, now simplify. c2 square outside, integral 0 to 1. Now this will be sine square n pi x is equal to 2. Now just integrate this part and get the value of c2. So what we have now? So this implies c2 square. Now I can write this sine square of n pi x by using the trigonometric formula as 1 minus cos of 2 n pi x upon 2. Yes, simplify. So this implies c2 square. I'll take 1 by 2 outside, take it on the right hand side. Now integration of 1 is nothing but x minus integration of cos is sine of 2n pi x upon 2n pi. Put the limits. 0 to 1 is equal to what we have here, it is 4. Now apply the limit, put x as 1. Now when I'll put x as 1 over here, this is sine of 2n pi, and remember the value of n is 0, plus minus 1, plus minus 2, and so on, right? So this is what we have here, right? So this implies c2 square 1 sine of 2n pi is 0 for particular value of 0, plus 1, 2, 3 like this. So this is always 0, as well as sine 0 is 0. So the second term vanishes for both upper as well as lower limit. Okay, so we are left with only 1 equal to 4. So this gives us c2 square is equal to 4. So therefore c2 is plus minus 2. Right. So substituting this value of c2 over here. So therefore equation 4 implies y is equal to plus minus 2 sine of n pi x, where n takes the value 0, plus minus 1, plus minus 2, and so on. So this is a required extremal. Right? So like this one can get by making use of given conditions and the requirement, the required extremal for a isoperimetric problem. I hope this video is clear to you all. We will solve another set of example on the same topic in the next video lecture. Thank you for watching the video.